Welcome back, everybody. This is JenSandwiches, here to take another bite out of Zombie Exodus. I believe I just escaped the apartment complex. Pretty sure. Yeah, whatever. Okay. You stand on the corner of the street in the desolate city in the late night. Litter blows by, and the air is thick with moisture. You hear movement of large vehicles and low-flying helicopters in the distance. Few people are on the street, and those you see are running into houses or stores with few remaining on the warm city streets. Little light emanates from houses or businesses as if everything in the city has shut down. For such a busy city, where are all of the people? Has the virus killed off so many so fast? You walk several blocks and stop as a sound builds around you. The rumble of large vehicles fills the area, shaking the ground, and a speaker fills the void of silence. Stay inside your houses and lock your doors. Keep your lights off. If you are outside, get to shelter. If you encounter an infected, run and get to safety. Do not engage the infected. Avoid being scratched or bitten at all costs. If someone is bitten, isolate them and restrain them immediately. Gunfire erupts, and you duck for cover behind a parked car. The windows explode, coating your back in shards of glass, and the alarm blares out until another round of bullets rips through the car. You check yourself for bullet holes, but find none. The alarm lets out a last fading sound and goes silent. At the intersection of the corner, only 40 feet away, is a procession of military vehicles. Tanks, troop transports, and jeeps with heavy machine guns mounted on top. The parade of vehicles passes for a full minute, followed by a trail of zombies, who you guess are attracted to the noise. Soldiers cut down the undead stalkers. You wonder if this is a strategy of the National Guard. Round up the dead and destroy as many as possible, in some twisted version of the Pied Piper of Hamelin fairy tale. Before crossing the street, you wait for the military vehicles to leave your sight and take all zombies with them. The corner red light silently holds off traffic, but no cars are moving on the road. Little light shines in the area, save a solitary window from an office building next to where you stand. You sit on the edge of the curb and take a few moments to rest, despite the growing exhaustion, hunger, and thirst. Sitting here for any extended length of time is a foolish idea, but you need to take care of yourself before moving on, or you'll never survive to find Emma. Am I hungry? Is that a thing on this one? I didn't think it was. But I'll have some water. Why not? You drink a full bottle of spring water and immediately feel cooler and invigorated. The hangover from earlier kicks back in for a split second and reminds you of a need for more sleep and never to drink again. Ever. Movement across the street pulls you out of your current comfort zone, and you realize reaching Emma by phone can be delayed no further. You need to find a phone to contact Emma. Most stores are locked up or have metal gates covering the front. Breaking in could attract unwanted attention. You travel south a block and see a payphone stand at the corner. The area is illuminated from a cone of odd orange light from a street lamp over the phone stand. You pick up the receiver and are surprised at the dial tone. After a moment, you hear several clicks. You check your pockets for change, but a voice comes over the receiver. Prime Telecommunication is providing the service free of charge during this national emergency. You dial Emma's cell phone number and receive a busy signal. You try several more times, and finally it starts to ring. Hello? Emma, it's me. Where are you? Ramalama ding dong, I can barely hear you. God damn it. Emma's voice fades and you hear, I can't hear him, but I think it's Ramalama ding dong. Emma, can you hear me at all? Where are you? You yell. Ramalama ding dong, if you can hear me, I'm at my friend Heather's house. She's on 10th Street and Holland Avenue, 1027 Holland. If you can hear me, meet me there as soon as you can. Be careful, the army is taking everyone off the street. The line goes dead. 10th and Holland is roughly 5 miles away. You have several options for traveling to Emma. Find a car and drive, or head to the subway. Well, I don't think I've ever done the car option, but I know for a fact the subway option works. It's, dangerous, but if you're careful, you can do it. You head down the subway stairs, encased in the darkness of the underground. At the bottom is a platform where numerous dead lie. Some were shot, some have huge claw marks or bites, and others have fallen and been trampled by the pack. Gunshots ring out from below, and as you descend, you see the grisly aftermath of a fight between infected and soldiers. 3 zombies are perched in the southeastern corner, pulling away chunks of flesh from a fallen man. A fire rages on the eastern side, covering a token booth. Behind metal turnstiles, 2 National Guard in full battle gear have zombies trapped in a subway car. Another group of soldiers lies across the western wall, already the victims of the ghastly zombies. You step down to the platform and attract no attention, so far. It is dark except for some still active floodlights across the top of the subway tunnel. The clamoring of the undead is heard all around. You quickly weigh a few choices. Ooh, I am not going towards the soldiers of the subway car. They'll probably shoot me. The ones on the western wall it said were dead, right? I think they were. Yeah. Why don't we go check their bodies, see if they have anything? The soldiers are slumped against the wall in a horrible array. The first is eviscerated, with a long gash across his midsection and intestines poking through. The second has a large hole in his head exposing skull and brain. The third has no visible signs of death, but is lying back, hands across his assault rifle and eyes closed. Each man has an M16, full black suit with bulletproof vest and leg pads, helmet with a visor, a sidearm pistol on a waist belt, and night vision goggles. You fear it will take too long to get into a full suit of battle armor, but can choose an item. Night vision goggles. Very handy, because I already found a gun, right? Yeah, I already found a gun, so I don't need a gun. But the night vision goggles are, like, so useful later. When you reach out to take the item, the third soldier points the M16 at you and puts a single finger to his lips. Shh, if they come over, we're dead. He points to the zombies across the floor eating their victim. My leg is broken. Help me get out of here and you can take whatever you want. I just need to get to the top and I can radio into my unit. Will you help me? Oh shit, I don't remember this. I'll help him though. You nod and move closer to the soldier. Can you put weight on your leg? You ask. The soldier looks down and shakes his head. You realize that he'll need to be carried to safety or must use a splint or crutch for movement. Can't fucking carry him. I am a very beefy scientist. This is true, but I am not carrying him. Do I have a first aid kit? Oh, I do. I'd be willing to sacrifice that to help him. You take out your first aid kit and open it to find bandages and gauze. You strip open the soldier's pant leg and uncover a large break in his shin bone, which luckily is not poking through the skin. Using the bandages and gauze, you do your best to stabilize the bones. You use his M16 as a splint and wrap bandages around it at 3 points in the hopes that the weapon will help keep the leg straight. You help him up to his feet and sling his arm over your shoulder. You support as much of his weight as possible. He winces in pain, but little sound is made, and the zombies do not seem to notice. You carefully climb the stairs, nearly dragging the limping soldier with you. At the top of the stairs, you set him back down. He is flushed and sweating, and you can tell by his face the pain is overwhelming. He thanks you and takes out a radio from a leg pocket. You return to the subway floor and take the M16 and night vision goggles, leaving the rest to keep your weight down. You head back to the center of the subway station. Nice. I'm tempted to go talk to the other soldiers, but I'm scared at the same time. Ooh, I don't know. I don't know. Why not? You run forward, jump over the turnstiles, and stop 20 feet in front of the subway car. Zombies are inside the stationary car, teeth gnashing at the windows, hands clawing open the doors, while soldiers struggle to hold them from sliding apart. It is a classic tug-of-war with the soldiers slowly losing the battle. Their hands press against the glass and metal doors, and they search for any degree of leverage to hold off the snarling undead. Hey you, we can't hold this much longer. Grab a gun and shoot them with the doors when the doors open. You grab an assault rifle off the ground. Next to the soldiers lie a pair of night vision goggles. I already got them. I'll help the soldiers. The doors spring open and the soldiers fall back. The zombies rush out of the subway doors, and you press the trigger of the M16, letting loose a burst of metal that cuts through the zombies. The weapon shakes in your hands as the rattling sound of bullets flying through the barrel rings out in the tunnels. The zombies flail and twitch from the impact and collide against the side of the subway, peppering the metal wall with brownish blood. The soldiers pick up their weapons and fire into the bodies of the undead who try to rise even as the bullets tear into their diseased flesh. Smoke fills the area, and the noise of the automatic weapons pounds against your ears. Your weapon empties as the last zombie stops twitching and ceases movement. The other soldiers reload, and you search the ground for a spare magazine. On your right, a soldier falls fast to the ground as inhuman hands yank him down. You had forgotten the trio of zombies near the subway steps, but they must have been drawn over by the noise of the weapon fire. You turn to face the zombies and watch as their teeth rend open the screaming soldier's flesh, tearing at his arms and neck. A stream of bullets flies past you as the second soldier shoots a zombie in the head, sending him backward into a concrete subway wall. You drop to your knees and grab a spare bullet clip, steadying your assault rifle, and fire into the head of another zombie. The back of his skull bursts open, spilling liquefied brain onto the cold cement floor. The third zombie flashes forward, tackling the remaining soldier. His hands hold away the zombie's wide-open jaws, but his throat is lacerated by a sharp claw. The zombie raises its head and screeches, then plunges his teeth into the open neck wound. Somehow the soldier screams, spurting blood through the hole in his throat, gurgling on his own fluid. You fire a burst at the zombie whose body flings off the dying soldier and lands hard against the subway wall. Your next shot strikes the creature's forehead, which cleaves a chunk away, creating a deep crater from which a thick, jello-like ooze bubbles. The zombie slumps sideways, smearing the wall in a brown mess. Dead soldiers lie around you, and the only sound you hear is a distant dripping of water hitting stone. It's time to move on. Wow! Literally everybody except for that broken leg man died in that scenario. That's awful. But I'm very humane. That's the most important part. Oh, and I have my goggles, right? I got my goggles, and I still have a first aid kit. Damn, I'm doing great. You step down into the subway tunnel. It is much colder and darker inside, and the only light is far off in the distant tunnel. The air has a smell of rotten meat, and the buzzing of flies tells you there is death all around. It will be nearly impossible to travel through the tunnel without seeing, as the way is treacherous. I'll use up my flashlight first. Your flashlight illuminates a wide cone, enabling you to travel through the subway tunnel. The subway tunnel has numerous dead lying about in various stages of infection. Some are still humans, some have a dark tone to their skin with blemishes indicative of virus Zeta, while others are wounded so badly it is difficult to judge the severity of their symptoms. Body parts are scattered about, covered with flies, and an acrid fog swells around the area, making it difficult to breathe. You cover your mouth and nose and press on. The tunnel is tall and wide, and you navigate past the bodies and walk along the side walls. The journey is slow as you constantly check behind for movement. Any sound stops you. Sudden sprays of white, foggy air from an overhead vent startle you each time. Rats traveling along the subway floor create a constant scratching noise echoed through the tunnel chamber. As you walk several hundred feet forward, the dead bodies get sparse until you are free of seeing the putrid corpses. After 30 minutes of walking, you arrive at the stop closest to Heather's house, and you find an emergency exit ladder to ascend to the city above. Heather's house is less than a mile away, in the middle of a run-down residential area of town. From where you stand, you determine the destination is north. In front of you is a 4-lane highway which currently looks like a parking lot with cars stopped at odd angles as far as you can see in both directions. Past the highway is a forested area, and you figure it is the most direct route. The park is fairly empty like the rest of the city, and you can see far ahead and to all sides, making it ideal for spotting trouble in any direction. It is extremely dark, but the moon provides enough pale light to see up to 100 feet ahead. You walk for 10 minutes and find a tall kiosk with a map of the area. Plotting a course, the quickest route is through the main forested area, which leads into a children's playground. You start out, knowing you have already spent so much time getting this far and need to get to Emma as fast as possible. The path flows into a deep section of woods with trees close together and bushes and high grass filling in the gaps between. Moonlight weaves through the flora, creating a glow to the forest, but only a dimly lit path. Owls call out atop high branches, and the rustling of leaves, by wind or woodland creature, stirs the quiet. Oh my. You walk along the lonely, winding path for several minutes until you spot a clearing ahead where lies a large animal and a figure in a ranger suit. Stepping closer, you see the ranger prodding a deer on the ground, its belly gaping open with a dark pool of blood forming below it. You walk closer still, and the ranger reaches into the dead animal and lifts out a thick piece of flesh from the cavity in its midsection. A chewing and slurping sound is evident from 30 feet away, and blood dribbles down from the ranger's hunched body. Yeah, we're just gonna go around. You pass by the feeding zombie and head into the forested area. The trees align in tight bundles like soldiers, and vines and brush make travel a chore. You press through, climbing outgrowths of roots, pushing aside thorny bushes, and sliding between tight branch formations. It takes a great deal of time to make any progress, and your energy ebbs with each step. After an hour of traveling, the forest thins and becomes less difficult to move through. Ooh. Is that a new picture? Oh wait, no, it's not. I don't know what that is. Never mind. The trek to the playground is smooth and straight, with a well-paved path taking you most of the way. As you approach the actual playground, which has a large wrought iron sign hung a dozen feet above the ground in a cartoonish font, you notice numerous footsteps and piles of dirt have hidden the trail, as if a mass exodus marked the impact of 100 running feet. You walk into the playground and see an overturned slide, its blue and white striped ladder broken in half. A jungle gym has a solitary green balloon still tied to a rung, a tiny pink sneaker, a yellow hair ribbon, a box of crayons. All lie scattered about as remnants of children who played here not long ago. You hear a song whispered across the wind. Frère Jacques, dormez-vous, dormez-vous. I'm not gonna sing the song, you know the rest of it. Yeah, whatever. Okay. You walk toward the sound of the music. Sitting at the edge of a sandbox is a young girl in a yellow and white polka dot dress. Her back is to you, but you hear the sweet song emanating from her. We gotta talk to her. You walk up to the child and kneel down next to her. She is playing with a small sunflower, gripping the petals with her tiny fingers, pulling them away, and letting the soft breeze carry them away. Her dress is spotted with dirt, and she has a bumblebee hair clip pinning up golden curls over her right ear. She stops singing when you are near. Hello, my name is Ramalama Ding Dong. What's your name? You say. She doesn't answer, but stares at the flower. You speak softly and ask, Are you hurt? The child stares straight ahead and remains silent. Leaving her here surely means trouble, but you need to get to Emma soon. You consider your options. Well, let's go take her to safety. You reach down and touch the girl's arm. Before your hand touches her, she squirms and pulls away, never once looking up at you. You don't want to forcibly move her, but are even more concerned of leaving her here. This place is not safe, you say in a calm voice. We have to go now. You offer your hand to her, but she remains motionless. As you reach around to pick her up, she springs up and runs away, down the dirt-covered path. You run after her, but she is constantly just out of reach. She darts down a small incline behind a trio of closely aligned trees. You are only seconds behind her, but as you turn the corner of the trees, you see no one past it. You call out for several minutes and run in the area, desperately trying to find the child. Panicked, you cover the entire playground and look for any fresh footprints, but find no trace of the little girl. You search for 20 minutes and have no choice but to leave the area and continue through the park. Oh my. Well, I know we're close to the end. Well, I guess I could just keep going. You make it to the edge of the park and cross another road-turned-parking lot. You scan the area in all directions in case zombies or other hostiles are around. You find a street sign, and luckily you see you're on the corner of 12th and Holland, so you quicken your pace the last 2 blocks to Heather's house. You find 1027 Holland, a 2-story brick and stone row home in the middle of the city street. You stand at the bottom of its stone porch, and the large bay windows are covered in thick curtains with no light shining through. The upstairs windows, framed in a white siding, give the house the look of an angry face peering down on the sidewalk. A narrow alley runs parallel to the south side of the home, and a solitary light casts a dim glow some 30 feet away from the sidewalk where you stand. 2 trees loom from the edge of the curb, towering above the second floor. You walk up the porch, careful to make no sound. You press the lever of the metal screen door and swing it open. A long creak breaks the silence. You stop and listen. Nothing moves inside. You brace the screen door against your shoulder and turn the doorknob. It is locked. Several options come to mind. I guess we can just knock on the door, because I don't have a phone. You knock on the door lightly, concerned that too much noise may not only alert those inside, but any zombies in the area. No response comes. You knock harder and catch movement inside. The gray curtains to your left move. You square off with the door, ready to run if necessary. You hear shuffling inside, and the sound of a deadbolt lock triggering, followed by the clang of a chain and turning of several more locks. You breathe in and out, eyes focused on the doorknob. The door opens. Emma stands in front of you. She reaches out, grabs your shirt, and yanks you inside the house. The door slams behind, and arms wrap around you from both sides. You pull away and see another woman, taller than Emma, with sandy brown hair tied into a ponytail, fashionably dressed for the apocalypse in green and pink camouflage print sweatsuit and rifle swung over her shoulder. She has a bounce to her step and pulls away to relock the door. Ramalama ding dong, this is Heather. You smile and say hello. Heather throws you a sideways smile as Emma leads you into a kitchen area. Stacks of containers, boxes, and packages lie about. Emma pops open the refrigerator and rearranges shelves of food. She looks thin in tight jeans and gray jersey. Her sleeves are rolled, and the skin underneath is blotchy and scratched. You have so many questions for Emma. What do you ask? Are you hurt? 'Cause I care about my sister. No, just a bit roughed up. We had some looters try to break in, but Heather is a hell of a shot. She just scared them off. We're not trying to add to the zombies out there, Emma says. What do you ask? Well, she already told me she ran into... Well, actually, no, she ran into people, but whatever. Emma sighs and says, I had to get my medicine and wanted to stock up on food. I had no idea the infection was so out of control. Heather needed to get some things, so we figured we'd go out together. You step back and sit down on one of the chairs. It is the first time you have sat down to rest in several hours. Your legs ache and throb. You pick up a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and munch on it. Heather brings a laptop into the room. The internet is slow, but things are still working. Apparently, the infection is out of control, and governments are just trying to contain the large chunks of zombies in the cities, which sucks for us. Outside the city, there are fewer people, and infection is much less. Plus, wackos outside of the city are just popping heads off the dead and keeping the numbers down. The big concern, though, is that all essential utilities will go down. Electricity, water, gas. Then people will be forced to go to the streets for food, drugs, the good drugs like insulin and antibiotics. Deaths will go up, as will the zombie number. Emma cuts in. She always talks fast. Some on the net are saying the military will set up borders around major cities and not let anyone in or out. Then we'll just have to wait and survive. Wait for what, you ask? Heather perks up. Zombies need to eat just like humans. If they're deprived of food for a week, they die just like humans. Real death, not fake zombie death. Listen, Ramalama Ding Dong, Heather's brother has a group of friends who are preparing to leave the city, Emma says. If we stay in the city, our chances are slim. If we leave and get to Tom's group, we have a better chance of living. We're all tired. Let's get some rest and figure out what to do in the morning, you say. Then we need to meet up with her brother and get the hell out of here. Woo! Aw, yeah. Part 2, done. All right. Well, we're making good progress. Now we're getting to the very interesting part, I would say. So, yeah, that's about all I got for today, you guys. So, thank you all once again for sticking with me, and I will see you all later. Bye.